Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. Get more from your Sage software featuring YayPay by Quadient. Before we start, I'd like to point out that you will be on mute throughout the webinar, but if you do have questions, please use the Q&A box and we'd love to answer them at the end. So let's set the scene here. What are some of the key challenges that AR teams face today? If you think about how a lot of companies operate their current AR process, it suffers from many of the pain points you see here. Their AR aging report typically lives in Excel or has to be pulled out in a report from the ERP, in this case, Sage 300. It's a lot of manual processes to have the ability to collect the money that's owed. AR teams are calling people, trying to collect, updating, and adding notes to it, and putting in outstanding items and trying to deal with the longest items first. However, they're managing all that today either through email or on an Excel spreadsheet. This inefficiency of this process is made worse because now you have a couple of systems that you have to go to depending on how you work, either ERP or CRM, and data is not consistently exchanged, specifically when it comes to notes and promises to pay. Because of these inefficiencies, companies suffer from a long days outstanding on their AR, and it affects their customer relationship too. Here's what customers recognized as needs. About 54% of the companies experience late payments, and about 93% of CFOs are digitizing their AR operation as a direct result of the pandemic. Everybody needs to collect their money as soon as it's due, and a lot of the AR areas are a big concern for CFOs and controllers. One of the actions that they're taking is to transform the payment experience. Traditional B2B payment methods such as checks are being retired and replaced with more flexible digital channels. You will see some of the quotes in here that are gathered from industry specialists. You can see that 74% of B2B buyers state that they will take their business to a competitor who has a better payment terms. So we don't want that to happen to you. So what is YayPay? YayPay is a predictive AR management platform that helps B2B financial teams perform better, manage receivables, and more importantly, get paid faster. If this sounds good to you, we will explain how it works. But it is simply a single solution that consolidates your AR management in one place and automates fundamental AR tasks such as credit assessment, invoicing. It integrates seamlessly with Sage 300, extracting all your financial and customer data and organizing it in a central cloud-based dashboard. I think the cloud-based dashboard is an important key term because those who are managing AR can access it from anywhere they are. That basically means that all your teams, sales, procurement, whether you have a legal department, they can all have this real-time view so that when they're talking to customers or making decisions, they're on top of this. Customers, of course, love it too. They have a self-service capability with YayPay's customer portal, which enables them to access invoices independently, no more emailing the AR department, and which means that no more sending back and forth of emails. The customer can pay via the portal with a payment method of their choosing at the time that suits them. This is what is truly a digital payment experience, as we mentioned in the previous slide. So from a technical perspective, those who are on the technical side of it and are joining us today, you'll see from the left the ERP Sage 300 and your portal pay. So that's where you are. The payment solution is engine in the middle between the company and the customer. And then you have the customer portal where you can the customer can pay this. this will be much clearer when Sarah does the demo in about 3 minutes. So why do companies want to do this and love it? It achieves basically a 34% average on an average from recovering on your receivables, which is a tremendous amount. You have a better forecasting accuracy of your cash flow and when the money is coming in. More importantly, your customer experience. Your customers have a better experience with a self-service portal. You have improved control and visibility, and you have amazing reporting and dashboards that people can access this. And it's an automated and streamlined collection process. So instead of me flipping slides and talking to you, I am going to introduce Sarah Jane Martin, who has more than 20 years experience in this area. She actually used to be a customer, I believe. And so I'm going to pass it on to her, and she will take it on and show you the demo.
Thanks, Mo. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm sharing my screen here. Hopefully you can see that.
We can see it.
All right, so as Mo mentioned, I'm Sarah Jane Martin. I'm the Director of Financial Automation here at Quadient. I focus mostly on our YayPay offering, which is what we're talking about today. I'm going to run through a quick demo for you, but before I do that, I always like to mention that prior to joining Quadient, I was actually a Director of Order to Cash. I started my career as a collector and worked my way up into that position and implemented YayPay in my last role. So I've definitely walked the walk, if you will, know how to use the software in a practical everyday use. And so really understand the challenges in that area, and obviously I'm able to speak to that when I talk to prospective clients. So here is our dashboard. This is where you would land once you open up the application. And as Mo mentioned, we are completely compatible with Sage 300. We would pull over all of the information from that ERP into our platform. So that would include all of the customers, all of that AR balance, all of the invoices, the invoice PDFs. Also, all of the personas that exist in the ERP. So not only our customers' billing contact information, but also internal folks as well. So who's the AR rep assigned to the account, who's the sales rep, who's the CSM. So all of that information housed in a single place and presented here on the dashboard. And the dashboard is really meant to be that quick sort of bird's eye view of your AR portfolio. But everything here on the dashboard is also drillable and actionable. So very easy to drill down and say, show me which of these, which 9 invoices are making up this overdue balance, or which 8 invoices have a promise to pay logged against them. So meant to give you very quick insight, but also give you the ability to get more granular if you need to. We're also tracking some high-level KPIs here on the dashboard, so things like DSO, cash collected, and how those are trending week over week. So I used to send this in a PDF, you can see here, to my CFO every week. Now actually we've built a reporting module, so I could have actually scheduled that report, but used to provide that very quick insight that was needed at a high level, and then obviously any questions he could come back to me with. Now, there are a lot of different graphics here on the dashboard. I'm not going to walk through all of them. A couple of things that I do like to point out, though, and the thing that differentiates YayPay from some of our competitors is that we do leverage artificial intelligence and machine learning within the platform to help predict payment probability. So you can really focus your efforts on the customers that need the most attention. And where you see that is here in this colorful scoring system. So typically when we onboard a new customer, we'll bring in about a year's worth of history. We'll run this proprietary algorithm against that payment history and assign a payment score based on how that customer has paid in the past. So obviously our friends here at the green A is good. D in the red box here is not so good. And then this little arrow next to that score is how their current behavior is influencing that score. So you're able to leverage that within the platform to help you make decisions on what sort of customer are you dealing with? Are they improving? Are they not improving? And what sort of decisions would you like to make automatically through the platform when you see a change in this scoring system? Couple of other graphics on the dashboard that I think are important to highlight. So here we can see all of the email reminders that have been sent out of the system. So the heart of the tool is really the dunning process, or the customer communication process. You can obviously toggle the dates at the top here to get a different view of any point in time. And you can see all of the email reminders that the system has sent out, which of those emails have been viewed, but perhaps more importantly, which ones have failed. And that means they've bounced. So you've got a bad email address in there, somebody's left the company. That's really important when you're sending out things like invoices, when you need to get paid faster. You obviously want to know if your email address is bad or that person's left the company, so that you can dive in and find out who you need to be redirecting those communications to. And obviously you can click on there and see which companies that pertains to. Couple of other things here on the dashboard that I think certainly for me were very useful. This is an on-time payment projection for current invoices, or otherwise known as a cash forecast. So very helpful. You know, generally CFOs love to see the cash coming in. Once it's in the bank, they don't care about it. What they want to know is what's coming up next week, next month, in the next 60 days. Again, what's happening here is every invoice that comes into the system, we're assigning that probability of payment against that invoice based on that customer's past payment history and that current payment behavior. So here in this example, our friends at Los Pollos Hermanos, you'll notice in my demo data, everything is, every customer is a TV show. So I think these guys are from Breaking Bad. But here we're saying there's an 84% probability of on-time payment. So probably don't need to worry too much about them, but we're a little bit more concerned with our friends at Huli, who only have a 47% chance of on-time payment. And so what I would do is I would focus specifically on these items in the light blue, make sure we're calling that customer, you know, early and often. What do we need to do to make sure that that payment then becomes more likely to be paid on time? And then down below, this is the other graphic that I used to gravitate to. This really turns the collections process on its head. So what's happening typically in a credit or collections department, folks are downloading that report out of their ERP, as Mo mentioned, sorting it by the oldest, largest balance, and then going ahead and just systematically calling these accounts, right? And what we're doing here is we're saying these invoices are already past due. We have no indication that a payment is going to be made, but we're leveraging that probability of payment to help your team focus on the accounts that are actually the most at risk. So if we followed that old methodology, we'd start here with this invoice that's 11 days overdue, but here we're saying it's predicted to pay between 31 and 60 days. So definitely does need some follow-up, but your true risk is actually lying down below. Here's an invoice that's only 2 days overdue, but predicted to pay at 90 plus. So what I would do is tell my team to come in, don't worry about what this number says, just focus on this probability equation and call these customers first. Let's make sure that we're focusing our efforts on the areas that we need to improve efficiency and obviously improve cash flow. So the dashboard gives us that quick insight of the state of the AR. We can also see things happening at a granular level with our team as well. So again, here I can see all of my different collectors. I can see how the portfolio is broken out amongst them. I can see all of the activity that's happened, how much they've collected, and then all of that activity within the system. So, you know, thankfully, most teams, we've rebounded back from COVID, but during COVID, this was really important when we had people working from home or in different countries. You still want to make sure that productivity is happening, right? You don't want to micromanage people, but you want to make sure things are being done. And this is a really good way to see that quick insight into what's going on. Now, the platform is pretty robust, so I'm not going to go through every single feature and function, but there are a couple of things that I like to touch on. As Mo mentioned, we are a full credit to cash solution. So we'll start with our credit application here. This is where we reach out to prospective customers to find out if they're credit worthy. Again, this is typically a paper process, if you can believe it. People are still sending faxes or scanning things to PDF. So what we've done here is we've built this as an online option. So a customer can build out as many credit applications as they'd like. So if they need one for a different business line or one for a different country, they can build those applications out. Very simple drag and drop technology here. Just pull over whatever fields you'd like on that application. You can mark which ones you'd like to be mandatory, and that's going to generate a link. That link can be embedded in any of the emails that the system sends out. Can be given to your sales team for when they're prospecting a new client, could be given to your credit team. Whoever needs to use that link can be sent out to that prospective customer. They can go ahead and fill out that application online. Once they hit submit, it's going to show up here in the submitted applications dashboard. gives all the functionality that we would need in that normal credit approval cycle. So we can do things like, look at any attachments that they've sent, communicate with the customer. We can go out to Dun & Bradstreet or Credit Safe and request an outside credit report so we can review that information. We can also leverage that same information when we build a credit scorecard. So this is how we would look at all of those different attributes that go into the process of assigning creditworthiness. You can weight each of these different attributes however you see fit, so based on your personal preference. And then the system will automatically run checks against your full portfolio once a month to see how is that customer sitting, where were they last month, what decisions do we need to make if a customer's scorecard improves or it decreases, right? More likely. So you can use this in the system here to build that scorecard out and really monitor what's going on with your customer base. I'm going to hop over now to what I mentioned is really the heart of the automation within the tool. That's the dunning email process. This is how we reach out to our customers regarding outstanding invoices. The nice thing about the YayPay platform is that you can build as many of these different communication strategies as you'd like. We call them workflows. So if you need one for small businesses versus our white glove customers, perhaps the tone is different in these communications, maybe the frequency is a little different. You could do it by business line, you could do it in different languages, or you could simply just have a one size fits all, whatever makes sense for you. The point is that you can completely customize your strategy to reach out to your customers. And what the system is essentially going to do is it's going to ingest all of that information about a customer's invoice, and it's going to start that communication path based on that invoice creation date and also that invoice due date. And so you would have the full ability to customize this communication. Who are we going to reach out to? So is it our billing contact? Do we need to include any of those internal people that I talked about? Do we need to BCC or CC anybody? What documents would we like to include in that communication? So do we want a copy of the invoice? Do we want a copy of a statement? Do we want to include all of their open invoices? And then what are we going to say to them, right? So here's the email template. And you would have the ability to build those email templates yourself. So they will have the same look and feel as any other communication that would come from your company. So fully customizable, you control the look and feel, the language, and of course the frequency of the follow-up. So you can see here, as the invoice ages, we start to loop in other people. I always like to mention this one, 45 days after that due date, I'm bringing in my sales rep, right? Maybe the sales rep knows something that I don't, or maybe they just need it on their radar that they've got a customer that's not paying us, all the way up until the invoice is, so it's really past due at 91 days. Perhaps my CFO needs to get involved. And obviously the language within those templates is appropriate for that type of communication. So now we're starting to talk about suspending accounts or revoking purchasing access, right? 91 days. But you can build those out with whatever language you see fit. And the way you do that, if I just quickly drop into that screen, you can see right here, just give me 1 second to jump over. So here is all of our email templates. A lot of them are pre-built in the system for you. Very easy to create your own. These obviously all relate to invoice collection. What you'll see here where you've got this red underline or these parentheses, that's what we call a dynamic data tag. So that's a field that we're bringing in from Sage 300. So even though the communication itself is generic in nature, it's going to have personal information related to that customer. So it'll have their billing contact name, their company name. And you can also bring in any custom fields as well. So if there's something specific in your line of business that you would need to refer to in order for this communication to make sense to a customer, we can bring those fields in as well. I also like to mention another differentiator here is you can also deliver postal mail. So if there's ever a need to send somebody a physical copy of anything, you can leverage those templates as well and actually send out a physical document. We also notice a lot of times our customers leverage the communications for things outside of invoice collection, right? You might need to use it for things that are more of a customer service touch point. So things like approaching a credit limit or a customer welcome, right? Anytime a new customer comes into the system, we can let them know all the things they can do on the platform, direct them to the customer portal and all of the actions that they can take from there. And what's underpinning that is the global rules. So this is really where we're automating everything that happens in that typical customer life cycle and having the system take action for us. In a normal credit to cash department, that's usually things that are on post-it notes on people's desks or reminders on calendars. This is where we're saying to the system, hey, listen, these are the things that happen to my customers. I want to take these particular actions, whether it's something happening at a customer level, so things like approaching a credit limit, perhaps it's something happening at an invoice level, like dispute management, maybe even something as simple as anytime we get a payment, let's go ahead and send a thank you, right? So things that we can do here to make sure that those items don't get missed within the platform. And a lot of these items are going to create a to-do item, right? So we can see here this credit card is expiring in 2 months. We're reaching out to the customer to remind them to update their credit information. And we're also creating a to-do item for somebody on the team to follow up. And what that looks like for the team then is where they're going to spend most of their time in this to-do list. So all of those system generated items, anything they've set for themselves, they can come in, take a quick look and sort of manage their day based on the types of activity that they might like to take care of. So we can just click on this item here. We can log that phone call, add notes, send communications, whatever it might be. Now, most folks who are in the order to cash space are very familiar with an aging report. That's really what most people use. As I mentioned earlier, they sort by that oldest largest balance. We're going to try and avoid you having to build that report in your ERP and then export out into Excel. You do have the option if you need to, obviously, if you want to do some more detailed analysis. But we're giving you the ability here to take all of those same actions directly from within the platform. You can come in and filter down. Let's look at things that are assigned to me. Maybe I want to look at things over a certain age range. Maybe I want to pull in some of those custom fields that we have. Very easy for me to do that. I can see now the accounts that I need to work on, and I can action on one or more of those at a time. So things like I'm going on vacation, let's go ahead and assign them to somebody else. Or perhaps we have a policy, anything over 90 days, no more credit card payments, right? So very easy for me to take mass action on my accounts here directly from this aging report. The thing that I always like to mention about this aging report is we have many, many different columns that you can bring in. So you can customize your view. So things that are important to each user, they can bring those in. And as a manager, I absolutely love the ability that I could see the last time a customer was noted, what that note said, last time an invoice was noted, and what the note was on the invoice level. Kind of prevents you having those drive-by questions from the CFO where you have to scramble to find the answer. It's all right here on the aging report. So easy, again, to see what's going on with a customer, to make sure that we're actually working these accounts, are things getting done as they were supposed to. Now, if I jump into an actual customer record, you'll see the look and feel, again, is very similar. We've got this ribbon, so we're all familiar with how that works now. I can obviously see things at a customer level here. What's nice about this is a lot of ERPs don't give you easy access to that full customer history. I know certainly a lot of them, this would be several different pages within the ERP, but here in YayPay, you can get that full customer view very easily. So you can see all of the open invoices, we can see closed invoices, any credits that might be on the account, any payments that have been made, more importantly, where they were applied. I spent a lot of time reconciling accounts with my customers, so that was super helpful. Adjustments and sales orders. And then obviously we can take action here at an invoice level. So slightly different options, right? We can do things like open up disputes or log promises to pay, take payments or partial payments, of course, add notes or send communications. So it really does give the team the ability to focus here on the specific customer. And we can see down below all of the activity that's happened on this particular account. So again, great for transparency, great for sort of tracking, audit purposes. We can see all of the emails that have gone in and out of the system, any notes that we've added, any disputes that might be open, calls, to-do logs, payment activities, etc. So it really does give you very quick insight into what's going on with this particular customer. And of course, here's that scoring system. So we know internally this customer is a C, and then the outside score is a 25. Now, Mo mentioned that we have a customer-facing portal, so I'll just give you a quick view of what that looks like. This is where I'm now your customer. I've received that communication with that link embedded in it. I can click on that link, and now I can see all of the information that I would need in order to make that payment. So customer portal gives me the ability to see all that same information that was housed within the ERP. I can see all of my open invoices. And then I can take any number of different actions here within the portal. So I could go ahead and pay this invoice if I wanted to. I could let you know I've sent the check already. I could dispute it if I don't know what it is or I have a question, make a partial payment, You can even download a copy or download any associated documents. So really giving that end user the 24/7 access to their account. Again, I hate to bring up the pandemic, but it's a real challenge that people were facing. Obviously, folks living in different parts of the world, not at home. So giving your customers the ability to self-serve is really key. And enables you to prevent a lot of that inbound communication that you might get from a customer, right? Someone calling, hey, can you send me a copy of an invoice? Or hey, I'd like to make a payment over the phone. Giving them the ability to do that themselves is really a game changer. It's going to free up a lot of your time for your team, giving them the ability to focus on those really sort of value-added tasks. Also have the ability here for your end users to communicate very easily with your team. So if they have a question, they don't need to dig around looking for a phone number or email, just simply type in whatever it is they need and hit send. And of course, you can upload documents here as well. So use case for me was I just used to put a copy of our W-9 every year on the portal, right? Something that, you know, every sort of February, we get 1 million inquiries for that. Just direct them directly to the portal. They can download a copy for themselves. All right, I'm going to hop back over here. I'm going to show you the last piece of the puzzle here, and that's the reporting piece. So the dashboard that I showed you at the beginning of the presentation gives you some pretty good insights into what's going on. Customers love that, but they also want to see their own data. They want to be able to slice and dice it. They want to get really granular with that information. So we built what we call our business intelligence module. It's a full reporting suite, gives you the keys to the kingdom. So you're going to have access to all of the different backend data tables. That's what these all really are. But it's really just areas of the credit to cash process that you might want to report on. So if it's things from credits, or maybe it's, you know, looking at the productivity of your team, something like payments, right? So here I'm saying, show me every payment I've received in the last 60 days that wasn't a credit memo. Oftentimes those things look the same in an ERP. I can build that report out myself. I can build these charts and graphs. So I've got the visual, so I can understand exactly what's going on. And you see down below, the actual report itself looks very similar to an Excel report. Of course, you can export it out if you need to. You can also really see how granular you can get here. So these are all of the different attributes in the system. I can drill down even further if I need to, all the way down into sort of those custom fields if necessary. So you can really slice and dice this information in any way that you see fit. You can schedule those reports. So I said at the beginning of the presentation, I used to manually send that report out. Now I would have the ability to build this report and just have it emailed to whoever I need to at whatever cadence makes sense. And then finally, we gave our team the ability to build their own dashboards as well. So you can create as many dashboards as you'd like. This one I just called key performance indicators. These are things that I might want to look at on a daily basis when I come in. This obviously updates in real time. I can just select from any of those reports that I've built within the system. So we'll go down here and look at our, I don't know, let's look at disputes by month. I can just add that grid, or I can add that chart onto my dashboard here very easily. This is now going to update in real time every time I come into the system. Obviously, we can move things around, we can filter, we can do whatever we need to. So it really gives you that full end-to-end view of your credit to cash process. So that is the sort of 10,000 foot view of the tool. There's lots of other features and functions that I could get into if needed, and would be happy to do that for anyone that has any further questions.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
That was amazing. I don't know why anybody wouldn't get this. Angela, are there any questions?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So I think you should be able to see my page. Am I showing my screen?
Yep.
Am I showing the right screen?
I see the thank you page.
Okay. So if nobody has any questions, we will of course send you a recording of this webinar. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to either call me directly or email us at sales@purlogicsolutions.com. You can email me directly at mo@purlogicsolutions.com. You can also visit YayPay.com and see all the payment methods for credit card that are available, because that might be helpful for you. And if you want a personalized demo with specific requirements, we could do that for you too. If there are no other questions, I will give you back your time. Angela, is there any other questions? No, not yet.
No.
Wow. Wow. Sorry. Hey, did you have a question?
But we do have one question.
Okay.
Can you handle ACH?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the method of payment in the US, but not Canada.
That's correct.
Yeah. So in Canada, it would be credit card. In the US, would be credit card and ACH. So, yes. Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? I believe, yeah. I personally, I am so excited about this solution because I think for a salary of one AR specialist or credit card collection for, I think, few months, you can get this entire system for your whole organization. I think, getting the cash flow in on time, ability to predict, and actually provide the portal to your client to pay, dispute amounts, ask questions, request statements, request invoices, all that is tremendous, and it's all on the cloud. So anybody can do it from anywhere without even using an ERP license.
And so Dylan did send an update in regards to the Canadian side. So there is EFT available for Canada.
Wonderful. So EFT in Canada, credit card payments in Canada, ACH in the US, credit card in the US too, or anywhere you are in the world. So.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, we do partner with some other providers as well, such as Flywire, where you can do cross-border payments, multi-currency payments. So we have a number of different providers, so we can probably figure out a solution for most payment-related questions.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sergey.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for attending. As I said, we will send the recording to you, and we'll go from there. If you have any questions, please call us. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.